First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at GMS to continue to rule well and push this truth out in its sincerity. And especially shalom to all you hopefully elect out there still enduring in the faith. I just wanted to bring this out real quick. Hell, it ain't going to be real quick, man, because I've been doing a lot of studying myself. I myself decided to take one of the apostles' advice, which means I'm going to actually just start doing a video a week, building myself up into this thing, But regardless, that's neither here or there, man. We passed all of that, man. We in this, we in this to grow and build. We not in this to, party and, have fun, even though, having fun and enjoying certain things isn't the wrong thing. But we're in this to build, as well as feed the flock, as well as, believe in the report. And if you believe in the report, man, you're changing your life. You're doing the things necessary to show your body a living sacrifice to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We weeping and mourning, day and night. Anyways, let me go ahead and get into, what I was reading. I planned this lesson out, and it's dealing with the judges. Dealing with the judges and dealing with, just the different aspects of, how the Lord can use anybody, in different aspects of life to, benefit his will, And the judges, they were set up to free the Israelites, during the time when they were, kept falling into captivity with different nations, whether it be the Midianites, which would be the Esau's, the Amalek, or whether it be, the Amalekites, the Canaanites. We was going to war back and forth. We was falling, we was rising, we was falling, we was rising, we was falling, we was rising. Like it says, a righteous man falls 7 times and rise again on the 8th. Shit, man. You count on, man, we probably done fell how many times in life, man? If the Lord were to, if he were to take our sins and use them against us, man, we probably done fell over 100,000 times, man. The Lord continues to, build you up and give you the tools to help you rise. So keep doing so, man. That's why I wanted to bring this out. For edification's sake. And I actually like this shit, man. That's why I joined the military. The hardest branch, I joined the Marine Corps, because I actually like this, getting into these topics, man. And, dealing with our people, man, because our people, we're special people. We come in different shapes, forms, and fashions. And, he's raising up not only prophets, a body of believers. He's raising up, his flock, through his prophets right now. And for me, I just, I'm building myself up as well. I would encourage anybody that's a true believer of the report, to the best of your ability, keep doing so as well. But let me go ahead and get into it. It's Judges. I'm going to chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. Get into the history. It says, now after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanite? Against the Canaanites first. To fight against them. And the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. I hate them damn noises, man. I can't wait for the Lord to just fuck all of that shit up, man. But anyways, it says, and Judah said to Simeon, his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and likewise go up with thee into thy lot. So Simeon went up with him, and Judah went up with the Lord and delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand. And they slew them in Bezek 10,000 men. And they found Adoni-Bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him. And they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites. But Adoni-Bezek fled, and they pursued after him, and caught him, and cut off his thumbs and great toes. So our people wasn't fucking around, man. you know, uh, we were definitely violent. Let me just say it like this: we was the shit, man. When it came to war, and we was in order. When we was in order, we was the shit, man. That's one of the reasons why I actually I do salute the brothers out there, that do believe in the report of Yahweh Shai in truth and sincerity. Because when we were in order, we wasn't nothing to fuck around with. We had our power with us, man. But anyways, it says in Adonai Bezek said, 70 kings having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table as I have done. So God have requited me, and they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died. So he brought him back to, the land. Pretty probably, just let the people see him, defeated, and he died. Just giving you a visual, Not only do I like to, be engaged and keep engaged, man, I like to get visuals too. Cause this is not this is a movie. This is the Most High's movie. This is his story, So I can actually see a lot of this. It said, now the children of Judah have fought against Jerusalem and had taken it and had smitten it with the edge of the sword and set the city on fire. And afterwards, the children of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites and dwelt in the mountain, in the south, in the valley. And Judah went against the Canaanites and dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kahatharba. And they slew Shishai and Aman and Tamai. So that's just a brief history, of the judges and how they got down. The judges won. When the Lord started to raise up, certain Israelites, to help free His people. That's what you're gonna see a lot of things happen. In this time. Not only from the slaying, there's gonna be a lot of Israelites that be slayed, man. A lot of people are gonna die. That is the absolute truth. A lot of people are gonna die because they're just not right. And the Lord put a spirit on them. That's why we, like, when the elders say it's a gift to have this truth, it is a gift, man, because that could have been you, that the Lord, decided to kill. So we should treat it as such, man. Better ourselves in that aspect, for the Lord, in truth and sincerity. But just continuing on, man. These judges, man, I'm gonna bring out, because we always hear about Samson, different, Hollywood publicized, biblical characters and biblical people. But there's so much to these stories, man. When you get into them and you use the Spirit and the Lord is showing you things, you'll realize, man, that a lot of these characters were in you. Gideon, which I'm gonna get into, is someone I actually, I've taken a liking to. It reminds me of me, especially when I joined the military myself. But it's just goes to show, man. Having faith, man. I wanted to show, having faith in the Lord, as well as taking those first steps, man. That means a lot to the Lord, man. You take those first steps for Him, because we when a baby takes his first step, it's like being born again, man. When we come into this truth, it's like it's a culture shock, man. It's like being born again. So when we take our first steps of faith in this truth, which is whether it be making videos or learning the language or just sitting and listening and then applying these things into your own life, or donating, because that it talks about, those that feed the poor, giving alms, whatever it may be, whatever your lot is in this ministry, man, don't take that lightly, because the Lord is definitely about to show up and show out for us, man. And yeah, man, that just ain't, not just, this isn't just for the men, this is for the women too, because the Lord can raise up judges from all aspects, You know, when people get spiritual ability, shit, I ain't gonna lie, man. Some women might get spiritual ability too. You know, you never know what how the Lord may, designate this. That's why we got to be careful with how we move and how we, operate. You know. Anyways, man, let me go ahead and get into some of these accounts, man. Hopefully, you're edified by this. To get out there and make a change for the Lord. Being born again, it's like, and being a newborn baby to the Lord in the spirit, man. So you got to take those first steps in the spirit, man. Of course you're gonna fall in the flesh, man. The Lord wants us to, to come to Him like that. He wants us to beg Him, like our Father, Anyways, it's Judges 3, and I'm going to start close to 14 or 15. I'm gonna start at verse 12 actually, because this is one of the judges, Salaki, This is one of the judges that was raised up by the Lord, and when you read his story, you see I might be butchering his name, man. Salaki if I am. Ud becomes Israel's judge. And when you read about Ud, man, he reminds me of an Afro samurai, man. And you're gonna see why. He rocked he used the spear, though. That's the only difference. But he was definitely not a joke. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. It says, this is Judges 3 and 12. It says, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered them unto the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon and the king of Moab 18 years. Ooh-wee. And Moab, when you get into, the Chinese dynasty and, the Zing dynasty, and what was the other guy? Genghis Khan, I think was one another. I'm not sure, man. But, that's just, for anybody that's interested in those topics, But, Moab was definitely, that's likened unto today, where it's known as the so-called Chinese, and, martial arts was something, big amongst monks. When I think about this story of Eglon, and the Benjamite that was, that slaved him, man, I'm thinking, our people were the originals of all of this, man. You're going to understand why in the spirit once, as I go into more of these accounts, utilizing the spirit, because he was let me continue. It says, but the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. See, every time they cried, we cried to the Lord. He started to raise hell. That's a fact. It says, the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a left-handed man, left-handed. And by him, the children of Israel sent, a present to Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ud made him a dagger. Make sure, okay. But Ud made him a dagger, which had 2 edges of a cubit length, and he did gird it under his raiment, upon his right thigh. And he brought the present to Eglon, the king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. It's like them fat ass Moabites. They just eat any goddamn thing. Shit, eat bats. Eat toenails. Motherfuckers will eat a goddamn elephant, a live elephant, if the Lord gave them the ability to. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bear the present. But he himself turned from the quarries that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And that stood by him and went out from him. And came up to him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. He was sitting high. He was balling, right? Probably had his feet kicked up. What the popping toes, right? Thinking he good. Everything is all good, bro. And the Lord, had to show him, everything is not all good, and using one of his judges, and that he's going to do that same thing in these times that we're coming into, and he's already judging the earth, but, you're going to see spiritual power, given to certain brothers too. Some might be beheaded, but you're also going to see, I'm going to get into all of that, man. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me bring it back. It says, which he had for himself alone, and Ehud said, I have a message from Yahweh unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. Probably, took a big stride to the left, big stride to the fucking right, trying to get up out that fucking chair with his fat ass. Salaki, y'all. I hate heathens, man. Now that I know what I know, it's so many reasons to hate these people, man. But it says, and Ehud put his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. He probably did some black dynamite type technique. I don't know. Thrust it into his belly, man. What an embarrassing way to die. Eating a bag of potato chips. And, you just in the midst of, you thinking everything is all good. You lose your life just that easy because you felt like everything was all good. And he in that half also went after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. Hey man, it's self-explanatory, man. Ooh, a very it seemed like he had some style, man. I have a message from you from Yahweh. Blah! It seemed like he had some swagger to him too. But hey, man, that was one of the judges I wanted to get into. Let's move into the next, man. Let's just keep it moving, man. Let's just, keep going in the spirit. Oh man, let me see. I'm doing this wrong. Okay. Yeah, man. This is the next judge. I'm going to get into, and this is one probably, if you probably have read about it, you probably haven't. To those who are new. This judge, she was a conqueror too, and she was an Israelite. The Lord raised her up to be a great strategist. When you read the account of Deborah, who becomes a judge who helped deliver us from the Canaanites, who was whooping our ass, like literally. When you read the account, man, they was whooping our ass at first. And that's because we lost our power because we fell away from what he wanted from us, the truth and sincerity, and the story, man. When us falling off with our power, we sinned, we broke the covenant, lo and behold, the judges really, really goes into, us coming out of the wilderness, the different off and on sins we was going through, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to get into, the accounts, man, so you understand through the spirit how the Lord he can use anyone. Me personally, I love Gideon's story. I love his story because he's an underdog. And you still see remnants of his story today. Even within the one of the hardest branches to join, the Marine Corps, they base their philosophies off of their training techniques were based off of the Nazis' training techniques, the harsh methods. Not anymore, because it's been softened down, but they always go into the Spartans too, in the Marine Corps. That's one of the things that they talk about a lot, and you're gonna understand why. Because everything that they do, they stole from us, man. They stole that story from us, and I'm gonna show you that using the scriptures, man. Anyways, let's go into Deborah's account. The story of Deborah. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, the king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron. In 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lepidoth, she judged Israel at that time. She dwelt under a palm tree between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. And the children of and the children of Israel came to her for judgment. And she sent and called Barak, son of Abinom, out of Kadesh Naphtali. And she said unto him, Hath the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river of Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army. Sisera was a captain in the Canaanites' army. And so it's saying, and with his chariots in his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. So it didn't matter how many fucking chariots, these Canaanites had. It didn't matter if they had 10,000. I think if you read Psalm 4, and David, talk, I will not be afraid. If it's 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, because the Lord, his hand is big enough to supply all of them, all of them characters in this game of life. Doesn't matter. He controls the narrative. So that's why we don't have no fear, when telling these people about themselves. It's just one of those things where you want to build up. You want to let the Lord build you up, man. Continuing on, it says, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into thine hand. That was verse 7. It says, and Barak said unto her, if thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor, for the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. So they went together, They went together, and, when you get into the account, which I'm going to do even more, she was a beast too, man. She was a beast strategist, man. She wasn't just a strategist, though. She showed qualities of, because, nowadays you got that, strong women, which we love. Like, I love, when our women do good. I love seeing our women win, whether it be Sha'Carri, Richards, even though we know what's going on in this world. I love it when our people, excel over our oppressors, man. You know what I'm saying? Because but that's neither here or there. That's the point is, Deborah possessed qualities that, she was an intelligent woman. She was a poet. She was a leader. She was beautiful, more than likely, because all of our women are beautiful, right? Not now, obviously, because we've fallen away from our power, and this devil has destroyed us, man. That's why we look to the spirit, not the outer appearance. And Deborah, she was one of the ones that possessed those qualities. And she was a prophetess, so she was the wife of a prophet, very well respected, as you can see. And she was a woman. She didn't have to, ride the wave of feminism or, try to shit on men to, get her point across. She knew what the Lord was doing for her, and she knew her role, and she played her role to a T. But she never stepped out of line, She knew she still served her husband. But not only that, she showed qualities of our women being talented in singing. As you get into the fifth chapter, which I'm gonna show you. She was a poet as well. And then it's a lot of things that go into these stories, man. When you analyze them with the spirit, just one verse can mean so many things, man. Because just one verse could have been a 10-minute scene, back then. Just one verse could have been a 10-minute scene. But anyways, let me see, man. Okay, yeah, just continuing on, man. Skip down to verse 18. Okay. Skip down to verse 18. It says, and Jael, who was, at that time, that was someone who was in captivity to the Canaanites as well, and their king, which you'll read about, their king had a good standing with the king of Canaan. And Sisera, obviously being chased away, by he was getting his ass beat, so he got chased away by the wait, so let me go to that, This is Judges 4:14. Deborah said unto Barak, up for this day, which the Lord have delivered Sisera into thine hand. Is not the Lord going out before thee? So Barak went down from Tabor, and with 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited, which attacked Sisera, and all his chariots, and all his hosts, with the edge of a sword before Barak. So Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots, because he tried to run, and after the host unto Harosheth of the Gentiles, and of all the hosts of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left alive. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet into the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was a peace between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to, show you, the history of what's going on. I probably should have did that from the beginning, but that's what the Spirit does, takes you, you might think you want to do one thing, the Spirit will take you to a whole nother. It says, then Jael went to meet Sisera and said unto him, turn in, my lord, and turn in to me. Fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. So she was playing. This is when she got sneaky with him, They might have had a peace together, but, Hamites always fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? The issues you got in South Africa and all that, the villages, they always fighting each other too. Just like Edomites are always fighting each other. They don't never have how do you say, they can't come into a mutual ground. As you can see back then, she was setting him up, man. We're about to read, and he said unto her, give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I'm thirsty. I'm gonna say how he said it, how he probably said it after running. Please, give me some water. I'm thirsty. So she gave him some milk. Water. Be careful of people, when you ask for something, and they give you a little more than what you asked for. Be careful of people that do that, man. They could have secret motives, as you're going to read. Milk was a delicacy, back then, flowing with milk and honey, right? Land flowing with milk and honey. So they had milk. I was probably like, it was like Kool-Aid. He said, milk from a leather bag, and covered him again. Stand at the door of the tent, he told her. If anybody comes and asks you if there is anyone here, say no. But when Sisera fell asleep from exhaustion, Jael, quietly crept up on him with a hammer, and a tent peg in her hand. And she drove the peg into his temple and into the ground, and so he died. So when Barak came looking for Sisera, Jael went out to meet him, she said, "Come, I will show you the man you are looking for." So he followed her into a tent and found Sisera lying there dead, with a tent peg in his temple. So on that day, Israel saw God, Yahweh, defeat Jabin, the Canaanite king. And from that time on, Israel became stronger against King Jabin until they finally destroyed him. So the Lord raised up, Deborah to help, and that's why I want to read into more of her accounts, to help the Israelites, orchestrate, how she sent out the man. She told them, you got to figure, she's not just telling them, just how it says, she's telling them, but she's also giving them orders, but these orders are coming from the Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord was working through her, and that's what I'm saying. When the Spirit of the Lord is on someone, it doesn't matter if it's, you don't like the way it sounds. If it's true, you can't deny truth, man. That's what I do this for, man. That's what we do this for, right? In truth and sincerity. And, this is just, one of the songs that she made, that she sung after they had defeated, the kings of Judgement. It's kind of like a ending love story to a Hollywood flick. They try to twist our because we really are the ones that lived, the lives that they try to twist in the media. Even if it's the gun violence, the gangbang, and all that shit, the real don't make it in the mainstream, bro. Let me just tell you, you make it to the jail cell to help feed, these damn Edomites and their system, of capitalism, man, so that they can continue to shit on us. That's what you're doing. You're helping out their cause, man. Anyways, this is it's just Judges 5, man. You can read it on your own, man. I just wanted to show you, read the poet, the song on her own. I just wanted to show you, how really, just how the Lord was using Deborah at this time, man. Long story short. Actually, I want to show you some more. Here we are. I think. Oh, okay. No, that's it on that. Let's go ahead and continue on, to more of the judges. Now getting into, right now, this is one of my favorite judges, man. I know we're not supposed to play. Well, it's not really playing favorites. It's just his account is more liking them to. His story is very. I got a lot of similarities with Gideon, man. And just to give you a brief background on Gideon, it says in the children of Israel, this is after, they had got delivered from, the Canaanites. Then here comes Amalek, the Amalekites, and all the other nations that were, serving under the Amalekites, under the Median army. And we're gonna get into, who they rose up who Israel, who the Lord rose up in Israel at this time. Which, this is where they get the Spartan from. I believe through the Spirit they stole that from this man's account. And, there's just so many things I was looking into. It's like, it's evident, man. The Roman Spartans were, a real people, but the story of Gideon, was he was the real Spartan. He was the first Spartan, and they stole his account. Really, they stole everything. They steal our talent. They steal our ways. They steal our abilities. Meaning, they mimic our style of rap. They mimic our style of talking. They mimic our style of, dancing. They just try to add a little bit more pizzazz to it, even though it's evil pizzazz. They do that, because they're evil. They're the wicked, children of the wicked, and Jake follows that. But really, we were people of love, man. We were special people. We don't need to be like these niggas, man. And that's why, I'm bringing these accounts out, man. The Lord rose up that everybody, they counted Gideon out because he was poor. He was poor and he didn't even believe in himself at times. The Lord, giving him that push, like, man, I got you, go. coming from the tribe of Manasseh, which we're going to get into. He said, and the children of the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And because of the Midianites, the children of Israel, made them dens, which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. So they was trying to hide from the Amalekites. They were a strong army. Won't deny that. It says so. And so it was when Israel sat down that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites, the children of the east, even came up against them, and they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth until thou come unto Gaza, and left us no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep nor ox nor ass. For they came up with their cattle and with their tents, and they had came as grasshoppers for a multitude. There's a lot of people, a lot of people in the Midianite armies for a multitude, for they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And it came to pass when the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, there it goes again. Every time we cried out to the Lord, what did he do? I'm about to fuck them up for you. But you better come back to me in truth and sincerity. Cried out to the Lord because of the Midianites. And the Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt and bring you forth out of the house of bondage, just as you see today. Prophets are talking to us today, uplifting our spirits today, feeding us the true doctrine, man. It's the same thing that's going on, man. And it says, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out before you and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am the Lord, your God. Fear not the gods of the Amorites in the land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. And continuing on, it says, and then there came an angel of the Lord and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, and pertained unto Joash the Abizarite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord, they was oppressing us so bad, just like you see them doing now, the projects, the Amalekites are, main ones responsible for that, feeding us that garbage in our communities. Like, that's why Amalek, the Lord's going to kill off your whole nation, bro. Like, you Edomites are going to fucking die, man. That's the point, man. You're going into captivity, and the Lord is raising up judges to prepare you for that, And he's already rose up prophets. Now he's raising up believers and other members of the body, like the elder apostle Tahar says, this is total recall, man. It's a total recall for a lot of us. So it's going to be somewhat of a culture shock, but stick with it, bro, because this is real, and you got the power of the Most High on your side, man. These motherfuckers can do, they can't do shit to you, man. It says, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him, and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befall us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? But the Lord, and just to, put light into, how people, because if the Lord didn't react to this man in this way, then maybe, other members, know that, that it's a part of this, the body of Yahweh Shah, man. Depends on the spirit you come in with too. But, come in with a humble spirit, man. When people ask you these questions, don't get mad at them, bro. Because our people want to know, man. Our people are not looking for knowledge, man. And a lot of us wasn't even taught. Like, even I myself, as much as people might think I know, I'm still learning a lot of things too, and that's why, you gotta, treat this truth really, like it's your best friend. Learn to love it, right? Even if it, learn to love the pain. Learn to embrace the suck, as they say in the Marine Corps. Embrace the suck, because it's gonna suck even more. It gets worse before it gets better, Anyways, it says, but now the Lord has forsaken us and delivered us into the hand of the Midianites. And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least of my father's house. So he was considered a lame, an unconsiderable, undesired man, per se, at this time. But the Lord was dealing with him. So, just keep that in mind when you got certain thoughts about certain brothers, just because they might not sound a little bit, prolific, they might not sound as grown, or, as they're like that, they might not have the aptitude that you've been, blessed to have, they're not, they might not be, at the status that you're at right now, but if they're trying, the Lord is still dealing with them. So remember, just keep that in mind, when you because you, these other groups, man, causing Jake to stumble, man. The Lord's going to fuck you up, man. And I'm going to just leave that right there, bro, because I don't even want to get into all that right now. But it says, and the Lord said unto him, surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, if I have found grace in thy sight, then shew me a sign that thou that thou talkest with me. Depart not thence, I pray thee, until I come. So he pretty much told him to stay. He wanted to make a sacrifice to him. Until I come unto thee, and bring thee forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until, thou comest again. It said, and Gideon went in and made a ready kid and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour, Salakia. And the flesh he put in the basket. And he put the broth into a pot and brought it out under the oak and presented. And the angel of God said unto him, take the flesh and pour it, take the flesh and the unleavened cakes and lay them upon this rock and pour out the broth. So he did so. And the angel of the Lord put forth the hand of the staff that was in his hand and touched the flesh of the unleavened cakes. And there rose up out of it, there rose up fire out of the rock and consumed the flesh of the unleavened cakes. And the angel of the Lord departed out of his sight. Whew. We gonna see some crazy things, man. The Lord give us spiritual power, man. But he said, you imagine that real quick though? You just touch, pretty much you touch dough, it bursts up. You can just pretty much touch dough and turn it into whatever you want. I'm thinking about that in the wilderness, when we are on our last leg and we've been crying out to Yahweh Bashim, Y'all shine our lives in truth and sincerity, and we pray that spirit never departs from us, man. Because I believe this is going to happen, man. You can do this. You can be hungry, because Yahweh Shah fed a multitude, Well, I think it was 2 pieces of barley bread. If I'm butchering that, Salakia. but it was, not that much barley bread, man, and a few fish, a multitude that was following him. He was able to feed everyone that was following him, and he had leftovers after it said, man. So they had more than what they, come on, man. There's gonna be times where you get hungry, man. The Lord, when He puts that Spirit on us for real, man. If you want, you can turn. You can literally feed. He's gonna feed us with spiritual manna, man. Just as He did in the wilderness. Shit, He might be able to make something appear again and again and again. Just for the sake of Him keeping you alive, man. Because you have faith in Him. That's big, bro. And when you understand like what you're really a part of, man, and how crooked and perverse this world really is, and it's in your face, but it's not in your face. And what I mean by that is, it's subliminally, publicized to you every day, wherever you go, even in your daily life, when you walk around, even the way how the trees are shaped, type shit. Like you really got to understand, like, that's where that spirit of peace comes in. But you got to understand, like this, like we should be crying out to the Lord, man, because we don't deserve to be partying and having fun and shit. Anyways, I'm tired of that rant, man. It's Salakia for that, man. Just wanted to get into that, just continuing on with Gideon, though, man, because this is one of my favorite accounts, man. It says, man, he was poor, right? He was poor, and he was considered someone that, was lame, you would think. Because his family was considered the least among his tribe. So, just putting 2 and 2 together. It says maybe 2 and 3 together. Who knows? It says Gideon's 300 chosen men. It says, let me go down, man, because I want to just get to the point now. It's 21. And this is when you get into, the 3,000 men that the Lord told him to gather up. The Lord sent him down to gather up 3,000 men. He tested the 3,000 men to make sure that they would be ready for battle. Actually, you know what? Let me get that too. Where he told them to test the men and be sure that they're ready for battle. Because like Spartans, they had a certain custom, a certain lifestyle, right? You couldn't just go into fucking battle, man. If you wasn't proven. And Spartans had a very harsh, very tough way of proving their warriors, man. Every Spartan that you came across, you knew that they could fight. You knew that they could fight, and you knew not to fuck with them because you would potentially die. That was a thing, but they got that from us, man. And the Lord rose up Gideon and said 3,000 or 300 Spartans, the 300, that movie, the 300, they got that from us, man. Anyways, Gideon, getting back to him, his account, man. I wanted to show, where he was testing the men. The Lord told him to go test, prove the men. Lap them, put into their honey, man. It might be up here. Salaki, y'all. As the eyes go with the spirit, man. Saves me. Actually, it might be. Yeah, I skipped a chapter, so it is down here. Here it is. When he was saying, do as I do, he was telling the man, because he was leading the men. But the Spirit of the Lord was on him to lead the men. That's the point. I really just wanted to show, where he was actually, you can see, because it's like a scene, scenes of him, choosing the men, and you know, choosing the 300 valiant soldiers, you know, that you're gonna read in the next chapter. But I want to get that account, man. Because these things are good for the spirit, because if you can visualize these things in your mind, you know, the body, it's easier for the body, the flesh, to move into, these accounts, to move like our forefathers, because you can visualize yourself doing these. If you can, but that comes with the gift of the spirit. But nope, 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 nope. All the Midianites, Amalekites, sent forth messengers. Servant, the song. Well, it might be in this chapter, Anyways, the point is, the Lord has he raised up 300 men. That's the point, regardless. He used Gideon at this point, someone that was considered least amongst men, least amongst the tribe, least in, in the time that they were in. He was from a poor nation at that time, right? But the Lord raised up someone in his nation, the tribe of Manasseh, to lead 300 men, 300, right? Soldiers of the Lord, that went into battle with the Amalekites, man, and fucked their ass up, man. And you're going to read, and we're going to get that in Judges 8, because even in depth, these Amalekites, man, they don't, it's how these people are the fucking devil. And I'm going to show you, even in death, man, they just have to be prideful, man. But anyways, yeah, man, that was it on that, man. I can't, I lost my train of thought on that. I can't find, where the Lord. Oh, here it is, right here. That's the spirit, man. Duh. Judges 7 and 6, and a number of them. Let's start right here. It says, I don't know how that happens, man. It says, so he brought down the people unto water, and the Lord said to Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue lappeth as a dog. Him shalt thou set by himself, likewise everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. Let's read this in the NLT. You get it better. Only 300 of the men drank from their hands, and all the others got down on their knees and drank with their mouth in the stream. And the Lord told Gideon, with these 300 men will I rescue you and give you victory over the Midianites. So send all the others home. So Gideon collected the provision of ram horns, and all the other warriors sent home, but kept the 300 men with him. And the Midianite camp was in the valley just below Gideon. So they was on top of them, ready to probably shoot bow and arrows, all kind of spears, throw spears at them. They was ready, man. And he caught them off guard. And it said, that night the Lord said, get up, go down into the Midianite camp, for I have given you victory over them. But if you are afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant Purah and listen to what the Midianites are saying, and you will be greatly encouraged. Then you will be eager to attack. The Lord pretty much told them, because they like to mock our people, man. He told them, go down, listen to what they've been saying, man. And then you're going to be ready. You're going to have the proper spirit on you to go out there and fuck their ass up, man. Just like when the Lord puts the spirit on us and he gives us that spiritual power, we ain't gonna have no more feelings of this world, man. So Lord willing, we're part of, you know what I'm saying? We're part of that number. But, we don't know who's who. But you got to keep the faith and keep doing the work, man. Regardless, man. Think about that, bro. The Lord pretty much set him up, to be angry, to rile up his spirit, man. And he said the armies of Midian, and Amalek and the rest of the east had settled in the valley like a swarm of locusts. Their camels were like grains of sand on the seashore, too many to count. And Gideon crept up just as a man was telling his companion about a dream. The man said, I had this dream. In my dream, a loaf of barley bread came tumbling down into the Midianite camp. It hit a tent and turned it over and knocked it flat. And his companion answered, your dream can only mean one thing. God has given Gideon, son of Joash, the Israelite, victory over the Midian and his allies. When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, see the Lord, that's how he'll use people too sometimes, man. That's why you got to analyze these things in the spirit, because some people will say certain things, that expose, what the Lord has for them or what the Lord is trying to show you, sincerely, like really analyze these things in the spirit, man, the spirit of discernment. It says, and when Gideon heard the dream interpretation, he bowed and worshiped before the man. He bowed and worshiped him as soon as he heard that the Lord gave him victory. When those prophets, are out there on the highways and byways, the ones that, are teaching and, preaching this truth in sincerity, as soon as, those of us who had never heard this truth heard it, we immediately prayed and thanked the Lord for this, man. This is what we've been looking for, We would have been lost without this truth, And this truth came from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Point blank, period. And it is a gift, and we should treat it like that, man. But when Gideon heard the dream interpretation, he bowed and worshiped before the Lord. Then he returned to the Israelite camp and shouted, get up, for the Lord has given you victory over the Midianite hordes. He divided 300 men into groups and gave each man a ram's horn and a clay jar to torch with a torch in it. And he said unto them, keep your eyes on me when I come to the edge of the camp. Do just as I do. And as soon as I, and those with me blow ram's horn, blow your horns too all around the entire camp, and shout for the Lord and for Gideon. Think about that, man. You remember that scene in Sparta, when he kicked that man in that, I think it was in that tunnel. It's been a minute since I seen that. He kicked that man in that tunnel and he let him know, this is Sparta, right? This is Sparta. Yeah, right. Well, this is the same account, The Lord, he surrounded their whole camp, man. They was fearless, fearful, because they didn't know what to do. They was pretty much surrounded at all angles. They couldn't go anywhere if they tried to, so their only option was to fight. And the spirit of the Lord was with Gideon, the 300 men, the original 300, right? So they was going to win that fight, whether they wanted to believe it or not, And it says, and just after midnight, after the changing of the guard, when Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the Midianite camp, suddenly they blew the ram's horns, and broke their clay jars. And all these three groups, blew their horn and broke their jars. They held blazing torches in their left hand and the horns in their right, and they all shouted a sword for the Lord and for Gideon. Each man stood at his position around the camp and watched as the Midianites rushed around in a panic, shouting as they ran to escape. And when the 300 Israelites blew their ram's horn And the Lord caused the warriors in the camp to fight against one another with their swords. Those who were not killed fled to places far away, as Beth Shettah, near Zerah, in the border of Abel Malah, and near Tabath.